Welcome back to Joyful Adventure Audits. Hit that subscribe button. We're continuing our ongoing series on the lost, closed, abandoned, and repurposed pubs of Birmingham, with hundreds of videos already on our channel documenting this vanishing heritage. It's 2025, and today we're in Erdington, standing on what was once the Lyndhurst Estate. We're here looking for the Lyndhurst pub, which was situated on Sutton Road with access from Wilmott Drive. But there's nothing here. The pub was demolished in 2009, the site sat empty for years, and around 2015, new housing was built. Another Birmingham pub completely erased from the landscape. But the question people still ask is, was this the roughest pub in Erdington? To understand the Lyndhurst pub, you first need to understand where it stood. The Lyndhurst Estate has a fascinating and tragic history. In the 1840s, this area along Sutton Road was home to elegant Victorian villas, luxury detached houses surrounded by extensive gardens. These stuccoed mansions were rural retreats for wealthy middle-class Birmingham families. Houses like Melrose House, Rustic Cottage, the Norlands which became Lyndhurst Guest House, Beechmount Private Hotel, and many others lined this prestigious road. Then came post-war Britain and the desperate need for housing. In the late 1950s, Birmingham City Council decided to demolish these grand Victorian villas to make way for a modern housing estate. The first phase was approved in 1958 and completed by 1960, built by Wimpey Construction. The Lyndhurst Estate became a showpiece of 1960s social housing, 7 tower blocks including the 16-story Harlech Tower, which was briefly Birmingham's tallest, plus numerous low-rise maisonettes, community facilities, and a recreation ground. The developers tried to keep as many of the mature trees as possible, a small nod to what had been lost. And at the heart of this new estate sat the Lyndhurst pub, serving the thousands of residents who now called this place home. The Lyndhurst pub, also known as the Star Members Club, became notorious. It had a function room where local families held birthday parties and celebrations. It was very much seen as a pub for the locals, and that could mean different things depending on who you asked. In a 2025 article listing Birmingham's roughest boozers over the years, the Lyndhurst got a mention. Readers described it as having a bit of a reputation during its time. But was it really the roughest pub in Erdington? Well, in 1998, the Lyndhurst made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Shots were fired and 4 people were injured when rival gangs clashed at the pub one Sunday night around 8 p.m. A gun was discharged, the landlord and 2 others received facial injuries from shotgun pellets, and a 19-year-old man was seriously injured with 3 or 4 stab wounds. One witness, who'd only moved to the area 3 weeks earlier, said, "I saw a gang of about 12 men run across the road carrying knives and axes. I heard at least 2 shots being fired. It was absolutely terrifying. It's not the kind of thing you expect to see on a Sunday night." Another eyewitness added, "This was more than just a pub brawl. There was a lot of blood. I saw at least 3 people badly injured. Several windows at the front of the building were smashed, and the pub was temporarily closed following the attack." So yes, the Lyndhurst had serious problems. But the pub's troubles reflected the estate's wider decline. By the 1990s and 2000s, the Lyndhurst Estate had become synonymous with antisocial behavior, drug dealing, and urban decay. The local councillor elected in 2006 described the estate at its worst. If you went onto this estate you would find derelict, boarded-up buildings. You would find stairwells that were soaked in urine and covered in needles and graffiti. You would find areas that frankly no one would want to go in the daytime, let alone night time. He said it bluntly, this was not where anyone would choose to live. The estate that had been built with such optimism in 1960, with its modern flats, underfloor heating, fitted kitchens, and rooftop washing areas, had become a symbol of failed social housing. The tower blocks, once a point of civic pride, were now viewed as problem buildings. In 2008, the BBC even used the Lyndhurst Estate as a filming location for its post-apocalyptic drama Survivors, because apparently it looked dystopian enough without any set dressing. By then, Birmingham City Council had already begun planning the estate's demolition and regeneration. The Lyndhurst pub was demolished in 2009 as part of the wider estate clearance. The site sat empty for several years before new housing was finally built around 2015. 2 of the tower blocks, Birmingham Tower in 2010 and the iconic Harlech Tower in 2011, were demolished. The remaining 5 tower blocks were extensively refurbished. The maisonette blocks and community facilities were torn down and replaced with new semi-detached homes. The Abbeyfields development, as it's now known, consists of 270 new homes, including 148 for social rent and 122 for private sale. The final phase, approved by Birmingham City Council's cabinet, added 21 more homes, plus a football pitch and multi-use games area. It's been hailed as a success story, transforming an estate that no one would choose to live in into a desirable residential area. But something was lost. The Lyndhurst pub, for all its problems, was a community gathering place. Yes, it had violence. Yes, it had a rough reputation. But it also had birthday parties, locals who loved it, regulars who made it their own. So was the Lyndhurst the roughest pub in Erdington? Maybe. It certainly had its moments. But rough is subjective, isn't it? What some people saw as dangerous, others saw as home. This is part of our ongoing Lost Pubs of Birmingham series. We've got hundreds of videos documenting closed, lost, repurposed, and abandoned pubs across the city, all completely free to watch on our channel. If you remember the Lyndhurst pub or the Star Members Club, if you drank there, celebrated there, or even just heard the stories, share your memories in the comments below. And if you've got old photographs, please email them to us. Details are in the description. We'd love to feature them in a future video. What do you think? Was the Lyndhurst really Erdington's roughest pub? Let us know. And suggest which lost pub we should cover next. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you at the next Lost Pub.
Brick by brick they raised it high, a beacon under a concrete sky. The Lyndhurst sang with 100 tongues, laughter, cries, the old and young. But the ghosts still roam through shattered glass and broken stone, where the pines poured thick and dreams ran thin. The Lyndhurst fell, but it lives within. Birthday hats and a flickering flame, cakes on tables called by name, moms in aprons, dads with darts, kids in corners trading hearts. Then the nights grew long, the shadows deep, knives carved stories no one could keep. And the ghosts still roam through shattered glass and broken stone, where the pines poured thick and dreams ran thin. The Lyndhurst fell, but it lives within. A jukebox tune, a bottle smashed, a fight broke out, the future crashed. The council came with their wrecking crew, but they couldn't tear down what we all knew.